And we are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your on-air host, Sara DiVello, and I am so excited to welcome tonight the lovely Camilla Trinchieri here to tell us about her brand new book in the Tuscan mystery series, Murder on the Vine. Camilla, welcome. Tell us about this book.
Well, thank you very much for having me, first of all, but I think I'm thrilled. The book, what I can tell you is how it all started, because it has a beginning, which was my husband and I went on a trip to Tuscany, and we stopped in this village, and we spent a week there. And for some reason, something went inside, this is it. I want to write about this place. It's a very simple village. It doesn't have any great cultural art stuff at all. Has some superb restaurants, that yes. And so I said to Stuart, I want to write about this book. And so I said, but I have to live here for at least a month, because how else am I going to get the sense? I'm an urban person. I live in New York. How am I going to get that sense of a village? So we did the following summer, and that's how it started. And the first thing that came to my head was, who's going to tell the story? How is it going to, evolve? And I thought that I would bring in an American because an American wouldn't know how this town goes, how the Italians eat, how, an American, although he has a lot of Italian in him. He was married to an Italian woman, and she died, and he brought her. She wanted to be buried where her parents had been buried, in this very small town in Tuscany. He brought her back. He had done something very wrong. He's an American ex-detective, because he was asked to leave. He should have been arrested, but he didn't get arrested because the captain had other problems, because he did something totally illegal out of the goodness of his heart, which is explained, I think, in the first book, certainly also in the second book, which tells you something about him, who he is. He's a man that has a heart, and he's very sad. So he comes and he goes, and his wife, Rita, had relatives who run a restaurant. Now, give me a restaurant, and Camilla is happy, because I love to cook. So he goes, and they welcome him, and he befriends an old man who quotes Dante all the time, because when you're in Tuscany, Dante Alighieri, who wrote the Divine Comedy, he's Shakespeare. He is their Shakespeare, created the Italian language. At least that's what they say. So here's this old man quoting Dante all the time. And Nico's wife also quoted Dante, because it was, something very beautiful. So he befriends this old man, and slowly he starts finding friends, feeling more at home. He rents a farmhouse, and that's in the first one, Murder in Chianti. Now we're on the third book, so things have advanced. He is much more at home. In the first book, he runs into a dead person, a murdered person, which he doesn't want to have anything to deal with, because he has given up on being a detective. But of course, he has to, the maresciallo of the town says, this guy's an ex-detective from New York, and New York is full of murders, because of course, what else would New York, in their image of a small town, New York is. He has much more knowledge about solving a murder than I do, my little maresciallo of the Carabinieri. So he asks for Nico's help, and Nico somehow can't turn him down. And that starts a relationship, the two, and also the maresciallo's Venetian brigadiere, this Daniele, who always blushes and is a very sweet guy. So, what has been wonderful about writing these books is that I have gotten to know them. I did not start out knowing any of them. I just get to the computer and I let them speak to me. And it's a wonderful, now I've been an actress in my younger days, I'm certainly not older. And somehow I go into them. I find, and what is wonderful for me, and that's why I love to write, is that I discover things. I don't have anything planned. My biggest mistake, and it's a mistake I made in the third book, in Murder on the Vine, is that early on, I mean, before I started, I decided who had killed so-and-so. Never do that, because then you get stuck, because then you start writing, and then all of a sudden you realize, no, that person cannot have killed anyone. That person is not. I didn't know that to begin with until that guy started talking and became a person, and he developed in my head. And it's like it's as if I were a medium and I'm getting all this information, and it's absolutely thrilling. So I worked hard on, and all of a sudden I said, Jesus, if it's not, excuse me, the Jesus, if it's not him, who the hell is it? And then I went to sleep, and one morning I woke up, and I always have that, that dream moment, when you wake up, but you're not ready to get out of bed. And that's when I do most of my thinking. And the guy's there. Absolutely. The killer's right there. Why didn't you look?
Ooh, tasty. Well, we have a lot to get into, and I just want to welcome everyone who's watching with us live on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're watching from. You're in the right place. This is the right time. It is Mystery Monday here. We're going to get the inside scoop on Murder on the Vine with Camilla Trinchieri. This is the third book in her series. So if you've been here before, you know how it works. If you're new, welcome. Ciao, mystery lovers. We're so happy to have you. Here's how it works. Any questions you have for Camilla, get them going in the comments. I'll get them right over to you. Catch a clue. Welcome to the conversation. Hey, Wendy. She says, Camilla, I love your passion. See, she's a passionate Italian woman here sharing her passion for the genre with us. And we have, let me just see, Melissa Watson joining us live from Australia saying, hi,
Melissa.
Camilla and Sarah. Welcome, Melissa. Ciao to Australia. Wendy saying she's so glad to have you here with us. Hooray. So Camilla, let's get into into some of your wonderful, passionate reviews. So let's start off with Carlene O'Connor, who is the USA Today bestselling author of The Irish Village Mysteries. And let's pop up her review. She said, if you enjoy Stanley Tucci's Searching for Italy, who doesn't love that? And Murder, She Wrote. I love Murder, She Wrote. Then read Murder on the Vine. It's delicious Italian food and wine wrapped up in a vibrant mystery, complete with a dogged ex-NYPD detective and a loyal dog. Salute. I love this. Susan, welcome to the conversation, saying, this is a fascinating woman. What? This sounds so good. Susan, so great to have you. So Camilla, let's start with the delicious food and wine. So do you cook? What do you love? Food? Do you love wine? Give us the connection of artist and writer.
Well, I connected to food as a child, because my father loved food and he would cook. He was the kind of man who would also say, hand me the oil, where's the salt, where's the pepper, and we all dutifully would give him all these things. So that was part of my life. Food was part of my life. Although I did not eat until I was 16 and discovered sex. Because I was skinny and I didn't like food. But then later on, yes, and I had a boyfriend who finally said, you don't want to eat it? Don't eat it. Well, I thought, what do you mean, don't eat it? Let me try it. And I fell in love with food. So yes, I do cook, and I am an Italian that came to the United States in 1980 and started life all over again after a rather upsetting personal downfall. And what I could offer the Americans that I met that had been my schoolmates, because I'd gone to Barnard, was I didn't have money and they were middle class and doing well, and I would offer food. I could cook for them. So food became a sustaining part of who I am, and I had to give that. Of course, food is a sustaining part of Italy.
Mm.
I mean, food is such an important part of all Italians. And so,
Ooh.
of course, going to Tuscany, what else? And again, what was I going to offer my American friends and my American audience? I was going to offer the food.
You're going to serve that plate from your heart. Looks like we have someone in the audience, a Barnard classmate of yours, Beth Worms. Welcome to the
Yes,
conversation.
hi, Beth.
She says hello from Beth, your Barnard classmate. Beth, welcome to the conversation. And Camilla, I relate. So food is my love language. Absolutely. When someone is sad, I'm going to cook them food. When they have a baby, I'm going to cook them food. When they're happy, I'm going to cook them food. Like, I love to eat and I love to cook. So I
We
totally
understand each other.
Yeah, I understand how you would get to Barnard and say, let me connect with people through food. So what are some of your favorite things to make?
Well, lasagna, of course.
Okay.
All sorts of pasta. I'm a big soup because I happen to love soup. So I love to make soups. Everything. I mean, I'm not dessert. Forget dessert. I am not a baker because you need to be precise. It has to be 2.5 cups of this. And that's not me. That's just not my style. And although I like to eat, I'm not a big dessert eater, but I do like sweets. So I don't do dessert at all. So, give me and I have, when I die, I don't know who's going to inherit. I have books and books filled with recipes because, what a Camilla is,
Yeah.
And, lately I have not been cooking because I've been writing. And
you've been cooking up a new mystery for us.
Yes, the fourth, yes. And
I love that.
So
I love that. Let's get to some of your other amazing reviews. Publishers Weekly awarding you a starred review. Congratulations on that, Camilla. Let's take a
feels good.
Yay! It sure, I can imagine that it does feel good. Congratulations on that starred review. Let's take a peek at that. I'm going to pop it up right here. And they said that they rate this book excellent, raving about your ability to provide seasoning as the action, building to a festive celebratory bar gala. Trinchieri makes crime-solving, adventuresome, fun, and flavorful. This is the best in the series so far. Bring on number 4. So Camilla, let's talk about that. What have you learned from book 1 to book 3? What do you think is earning you this star? What have you gotten better?
I have absolutely no idea. I will be honest with you. Absolutely no idea. What I guess could be, if I think about it, is that, in the beginning, I didn't know these characters. They came to me, but I had to listen and develop. I mean, and they develop themselves through dialogue and through action. And then by the third, I know them more. I'm more comfortable with them. I feel that I understand them better than I did before. Maybe I'm just thinking that. I'm not sure because I just sit here and I write and I let them talk to me and I go.
I love it. Well, Library Journal also raving about this book. They are likening it. They said fans of David P. Wagner's Italian mysteries will appreciate the lush descriptions of food and wine in your third atmospheric Tuscan mystery. The complicated personal relationships helpfully elucidated in the book's list of characters add to the enjoyment. Camilla, what do you think is the secret to delving in to both seasonings for food and also personal complicated relationships?
I listen. I'm a very curious person. And sometimes it works against me in the sense that I may be in a restaurant and my husband is speaking to me and I say, shh, I'm listening because I'm hearing. And I think a lot of it has to do with my background. I have traveled a lot. I lived with my father, not my mother, who was an ill woman. And he was a diplomat, an Italian diplomat. And we used to travel every 4 years. We'd go to a new country, sometimes a different language, new school, new friends. And what you do is that to me, sense of place became very important, which I think is one of the things that I do well with the Tuscan Mysteries because I needed to immediately know where I was. And I call it being also at the edge of the carpet. You go somewhere and you're at the edge of the carpet because you don't really belong. And actually, I realized it's also Nico's story. You know, my protagonist's story is that he comes to a new town and he does not belong. And he has to find a way to belong. So what he does is he listens. And that's what I did. I listened and I tried to catch on to how things work in this new country, in this new language, perhaps. And by listening, I think I've picked up how people are, because it was a way of survival for me to be able to join in on wherever I was and to be part of, although I had never totally felt completely part of. And that also, I think, helps me as a writer because I'm a little outside looking in.
Oh, that's interesting. Now, what about so even in New York, in your city where you've lived since 1980, you do not feel yourself to be an insider?
Not totally. Because there's part of me that aches for Italy. There's part of me that doesn't quite think the way everyone else does. Certainly, we're not talking politics here, obviously. No, I have created my own country. I think it's my way of surviving everything. And I will survive everything. I mean, as I wrote a book, just an essay about my life, and I said something about if take me to Siberia and I'll be fine. Not everyone is going to be fine in Siberia. I will be because I've developed whatever it takes to live in Siberia. But also, I developed a very good ear about how people are. Ooh. And I think that's how these characters speak to me. I hope they're real. I think they're real. I hope, from the reaction, people do think they're real. And it's fun. It's wonderful. I feel like a medium, as I said before. It all comes. I have no idea where it comes from.
So perhaps that feeling of not entirely belonging anywhere also allows you to inhabit all of these different characters and cultures and stories on and off the page to shift seamlessly into those worlds, integrate, assimilate quickly, and yet never fully feeling at home anywhere allows you to feel at home everywhere.
Yes. Yeah. Very, very well said, Sarah.
It's interesting. I totally get it. Well, Kirkus also raving about this book, calling it a clever, colorful, cozy. Let's pop that up as well. With a decidedly Italian flavor, which of course is the best sort of flavor. So congratulations on this fabulous review as well.
Although I don't think it's a cozy.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So why it seems like people like to organize things. Ooh, I see a good question coming in. Susan, we're going to get to that one next. That is a tasty question. But Camilla, what do you think? How would you categorize this?
Well, I can see why they called it a cozy because it is not harsh. It's not, the crime is soft. You don't get these terrible descriptions of what's happened to these poor people, except maybe in the first one. But to me, a cozy is an amateur sleuth. And these are not amateur sleuths. We have an ex-American homicide detective, and we have a maresciallo whose job is to take care of whatever crime is going on. So but I can see why he or whoever wrote it thinks of it as a cozy because there's the food, there's personal relationships are involved. So, but I don't think of it as a cozy. I don't know what I think of it, to tell you the truth.
It defies categorization.
Brava, Sarah. That's exactly it.
Susan, I love this question. Camilla, you are organizing a dinner party. What 3 writers, living or dead, would you invite? And I'm going to ask what you'd cook for them too.
I would invite Hilary Mantel, we just lost her because I'm reading her 3rd Cromwell book and she just writes like a god. I would invite Henry James, who taught me a lot. And although he's a difficult writer, he what he does is he leaves things out. And that's something I had to learn, that I used to put when I started writing everything in. I wanted it to be like a movie, so I would describe the lamp, the light, and he does. He doesn't do that, and I learned a lot from him. And the third writer, I would say Louise Penny, because I'm fascinated by her.
Oh, great choices. Now, I'm going to pony on to Susan's excellent question. What would you make for them, Camilla? What would you be serving at this dinner party?
You know, with the difficult, I think Hillary and Louise, I can give them anything. Italian. Henry James, he's a little bit of a stiff. But hey, to hell with it. Definitely pasta. Sausages, okay. I would, okay, now I'm developing in the fourth book a recipe that I like, which has to do with tagliatelle, tagliarini, which is thinner, flat pasta, but it's thinner.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like lasagna, not like tagliarini with whatever. Tagliatelle, I get confused. Okay. So, and I'm developing it, and this is with leeks and onions and prosciutto, and that's rather sophisticated. So maybe he would like that. But then, I think mushrooms and onions and sausages, sweet sausages, with short pasta like rigatoni or penne. How can you go wrong with that?
Okay, who else wants to go with me who else wants to come to this fabulous dinner party? Oh my God, I'm so hungry now. Yum. That sounds amazing. Hi there, Leslie, joining us from Canada, giving us her signature.
Hi, Canadian.
Canadian Leslie giving us her signature. Hello, Leslie. Welcome to the conversation. Thank you so much for joining us. Always a pleasure to see your name pop up. Susan saying she is dying over the food. Yes. Oh, it sounds delicious. Catherine says she is in. We're for this dinner party. Absolutely. This sounds so delicious. Anything with mushrooms.
Love to have you.
We're going to Camilla's house for dinner. Everybody, the book is out. Grab your copy. Here is your copy. Here is your link to grab your copy. We're gonna get even hungrier as we're reading Camilla's lush descriptions of food. Oh, hey, readers, gotta read. Hey, girl, good to see you pop up. She's joining us from YouTube. She's saying she is in for the dinner party too. You've got some hungry readers on your hands here, Camilla. We have a few minutes left. I can take a few more questions, so let us know what questions you have for this fabulous author. I also want to get to some of your other praise. Crime Reads praising the series and your ability to write lush descriptions of wine country. I'm going to pop that one up as well, with fascinating details of life in Italy. This is for the previous book. Murder in Chianti is the perfect read for all seeking an outdoor escape through fiction. Tuscany is beautiful. I went there for my honeymoon, and I ate my way through Italy, let me assure you. And now I'm just getting hungrier and hungrier. Camilla, you're working on.
She weighs 120 pounds.
This is a lie. Camilla, tell us about book number 4. You're working on that?
Yes, I am. For the now, you never know what sales are going to say, the marketing people, but no one has contested the title so far. So it's The Road to Murder. And the reason I chose that title was because the death of this person, the road to get to a point where you want to kill someone. Very often it comes from the past. It's something way back that gets worse and worse and worse until you can no longer take it. So I like the idea of the road to get to a murder. And that's why I called it The Road to Murder. And it has to do maybe about the past, maybe not.
Ooh, I like that idea that it's not just an event, that there's been a journey to get to this.
Yes.
Yeah.
What the wonderful thing about this book for me was that I fell in love with a character. Now, I don't know if that's going to be bad at the long, but this woman popped up. I like to bring back small characters. That's why finally in the third book in Murder on the Vine, people complain that I have a lot of characters always because it's a town and a town is full of characters. And I don't like, I like to bring them to life. So someone said, to keep them all straight. So I finally added a cast of characters at the end of the book. And now I got lost in what I was saying because I often do.
So the road.
But anyway, so then this woman, yeah, because I like to bring back characters. Like, there's the bar guy. He just brings in coffee. Rincino. His name is Rincino. And he always changes his hair because his girlfriend is always trying out new dyes. And he obliges by dyeing his hair the color she's hoping to get. So he has a small character, but he's alive. He's there. There is a guy who brings you coffee. So this woman in the Murder on the Vine has a very small part. Her name is Mrs. Barron. She's English, and she says something that she's actually wrong, but it does affect their thinking what she says. And then she came back, and she became a very important character in the fourth book. And I just love to listen to her, and I love to hear her. I don't invent it. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I don't. I mean, somehow they talk to me. They're ghosts that come and say, "Please listen. Let me have my say. Whatever it is, let me have my say." And I try to give them that say.
Let's talk a little more about the creative process, Camilla. So when you've said you don't feel like a writer, you feel more like a medium. You are channeling these people. You've even likened them to ghosts. They're speaking through you. So what do you have a special, process or that you go through to invite them in? What is your creative process, your daily practice look like?
It's really the morning. I wake up early, maybe 7:30 before the alarm, or sometimes 6:00. And I think I wake up because my brain needs to process some things. And then these things pop in my head. Dialogue will pop in my head. Very often I may have forced a character to say something. I don't know I'm forcing them to say something because it's convenient for me for the plot to have this person say that. And then in the next morning, it'll say, "No, I would never say that. Cut it out. Get rid of it." And I listen and I cut it out. And then something else will come. I don't know where it all comes from.
Well, it comes from somewhere, right? Because if you are in that, and as
from my life, I guess, from having traveled like crazy, having been in so many places, having I used to work in dubbing, which meant that I would sit in a room for 8 hours and watch actors speak. And we would put, this was in Italy, and we would have put Italian dialogue on them. They were Italian actors. And so I was always watching these people emote, and I guess I just sort of sucked it up. I drank it in, and it's now coming out again.
Ooh. I think we have our last question here. Readers gotta read. She would like to know, Camilla, are there any fall Italian traditions that you participate in?
Nope.
Okay, so no. Do you do your Feast of the Seven Fishes for Christmas Eve?
No, we didn't. I didn't even know about it. This, I think, might be a Southern Italian thing. My father was from up north. So it was, he was from Torino. So I discovered the seven fishes here when I came here. I mean, I'm a little ashamed of it, I have to admit, but we didn't. And they're not, fall. Yes, in November, the students graduate, and it's always fun in Rome. They're wearing their hats and they're, having a big party. But I didn't participate in that. So I can't think of any fall traditions that I participate in, except maybe eating.
She's tucking into her soups and her pastas. That's my kind of tradition. Oh my goodness. Y'all, I want to remind you the book is out now. Here is the link once again. So grab your copy right here. And the good folks at Murder by the Book who just love Camilla and told me I had to host her, and they were totally right, as they always are. So grab your copy here and
buon appetito. That means good appetite.
and buon appetito. Enjoy this beautiful book and all of these traditional Italian descriptions. Thank you all so much for joining us for Mystery Monday, because you know Mondays can be murder, and I will see you next week. Hang in there until then. Good night, y'all.
Thank you, Sarah. Bye-bye, everyone.